Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world. We welcome you to Global TV's news cycle, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Judith Peters. On the news, Nigeria First Lady Oluremi Tinubu says effort to reshape Nigeria and address societal ill plug in the female gender require active participation of women. She said this when she granted audience to the Minister of State for Police Affairs, Iman Sulaiman Ibrahim, who led senior female police officers on a courtesy visit to her office at the State House in Abuja. Noting that a large number of women are actively involved in policing and security in the country, the First Lady said the current administration of President Bola Tinubu has given more room to women to contribute their own quota to national development, adding that she is looking forward to a day when a female will become the nation's Inspector General of Police.
So I want to thank you, and I believe that, with the crop of women in the team of Mr. President, I don't think this will be the end for women. I think it's just a beginning of a new dawn for us, and for gender to be respected and given a very healthy playing field to be able to contribute our quota to society.
Applauding the stiffer advocacy by the First Lady for setting the pace and advancing the interests of women in the country, the Minister of State for Police Affairs, Iman Sulaiman Ibrahim, noted that gender equality, safeguarding of human rights, and empowerment of women were key anchors of a just and fair society.
Currently, women constitute about 9% of the Nigerian police workforce, particularly at the rank and file level, but with less representation at the officers level. There are no female representation in the force management team presently. Consistent with the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, we are working assiduously to move beyond mere conversations to equipping the Nigerian police force with gender-responsive frameworks in its operational structure and command mechanism.
Appointed by President Bola Tinubu, Iman Sulaiman Ibrahim is the first female Minister of State for Police Affairs in Nigeria. As other security task force of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, on Monday impounded 69 commercial vehicles in the territory for various offences ranging from wrongful parking to racketing vehicles and failure to use number plates. The FCTA said the action was in continuation of its effort to rid the city of illegal operators of commercial vehicles and to improve the security of lives and properties of residents of Abuja. The director of the FCTA, Directorate of Road Traffic Services, Abdul Latif Bello, who addressed journalists during the exercise, stressed that the administration would not slack in its effort to clear out nuisances from the city and that owners of the 69 important vehicles will be prosecuted by the FCT mobile court. Sitting in the premises of the Directorate, they disclosed that 3 of the commercial vehicles operators who were alleged to be members of the One Chance Syndicate were arrested during the exercise and will be handed over to the police for prosecution. The director also of the Department of Development Control, Mukhtar Galadima, described indiscipline as a major contributor to the increased rate of the One Chance operators in the city, adding that the administration will continue to make use of the 40 taxi ranks provided by the FCTA in the city centre. Still on the news, where the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi-San, has stated that the proposed International Anti-Corruption Court, IACC, will enable the Nigerian government tackle high-profile cases, powerful individuals, and recover stolen assets and offshore properties. The AGF, who was represented by Yusuf Abdullahi Abdulkadri, Deputy Director, Public Prosecution of the Federation, stated this during the 33rd Anti-Corruption Situation Room in Abuja. Global TV's correspondent, Presence Usman, was there and she filed this report.
The Accountant General of the Federation explained that Nigeria has been actively engaged with international anti-corruption mechanisms and frameworks.
It undermines trust in governments, weakens institutions, hampers economic growth, and perpetuate social injustice. It is a cancer that knows no boundaries, affecting both developed and developing countries alike. To effectively combat corruption on a global scale, we have witnessed the emergence and evolution of various international anti-corruption mechanisms and frameworks. These mechanisms serve as crucial tools in our collective effort to eradicate corruption.
The chairman, Header Resource Center, Olarewaju Suraj, urged courts in Nigeria to rise up to expectations and do justice to cases relating to corruption in the country.
It's already now, both at the local level here, if you remember, President Muhammadu Buhari last year actually also addressed the African Union on the need for African countries to join with the advocacy for the creation of the International Anti-Corruption Court. We're seeing more the need for that as a country. If you see, it takes some of the high-profile corruption to be arrested and prosecuted in jurisdiction outside Nigeria before we can see some kind of reprieve and also accountability on their part. Alamai Sia was arrested in London, Joshua Dariye was arrested in London, Desiani Alice in Madueke is just being prosecuted in London. So it's becoming clear that we're not likely to, in the nearest future, rely so much on our local administration of criminal justice before we can actually stem corruption.
Olarewaju asserted that Nigeria had been grappling with the devastating effects of corruption for decades, while stressing that it was a challenge that had permeated various aspects of the Nigerian society. The 33rd Anti-Corruption Situation Room is a forum set aside to address corruption and ensure that perpetrators are held accountable and not tolerated. Princess Usman, Global Television News.
And as well, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has disqualified the candidates of the All Progressive Congress (APC) in the Bayelsa State governorship election. Timi Percival from the contest, a member of the APC in the state, Demosua Yefa Kolomofo, has in a suit asked the court to determine whether Silva was qualified to contest in the election, having occupied the office of Governor of Bayelsa from May 29, 2007 to April 15, 2008, and as well May 27, 2008 to January 27, 2012. However, in a judgment delivered on Monday night, Justice Donatus Okorowo held that allowing Silva to contest again would breach the provision of the 1999 Constitution, having been sworn in twice and ruled for 5 years as a governor of the state. The judge also said Silva would spend more than 8 years in office if allowed to participate in the election and eventually win. Setting the case of Maro versus Yako at the Supreme Court, Okorowo noted that the drafters of the country's constitution stated that nobody should be voted for as governor more than twice. He added that the parties to the suit agreed that Silva was voted into office 2 times. Also, the Nigeria Meteorological Agency has issued a weather forecast indicating the likelihood of dust storms and thunderstorms from Monday to Wednesday across the nation. In its weather outlook report obtained on Monday, the agency predicted dust storms with a visibility range of 1 kilometer to 3 kilometers and localized visibility of less than or equal to 1,000 miles. Was anticipated over the northern region on Monday. In the north-central states, visibility values are expected to range between 2 kilometers to 5 kilometers due to suspended dust, with thunderstorms predicted in various regions, including the Federal Capital Territory, Nasarawa, Niger, Kogi, Kwara, Plateau, and Benue State in the afternoon and evening. In the southern states, thunderstorms are expected in the morning hours. NIMET anticipated moderate dust storms on Wednesday with a visibility range of 2 kilometers to 5 kilometers over the north throughout the forecast period. Now on the foreign scene, President Joe Biden speaks on Tuesday, October 10, 2023, in the State Dining Room of the White House in Washington about the war between Israel and the militant Palestinian group Hamas. as Vice President Kamala Harris and Secretary of State of the state Antony Blinken listened to President Joe Biden's confirm that U.S. citizens are among the hostages captured by Hamas in this weekend's attack on Israel, and he condemned the militant group for sheer evil. For its shocking multi-plunge attack on Israel launched from the Gaza Strip that has killed hundreds of civilians, including at least 14 American citizens. As well, Hurricane Lydia took aim at Mexico's Pacific Coast resort of Puerto Vallarta, and forecasters said it could have winds up to 105 mph when it hits land later Tuesday. The hurricane is expected to sweep over a spit of land around Cabo Corrientes before hitting the bay where Puerto Vallarta is located, which could cushion the blow somewhat. Local authorities cancelled classes in communities around the coast. The expected impact comes one day after tropical storm Mars hit the southern Pacific coast, hundreds of miles away, and then dissipated. Also, the United States has suspended nearly $200 million assistance to the government of Niger Republic on 26 July 2023. A coup d'etat occurred in Niger, where the country's presidential guard detained President Mohamed Bazoum, and Presidential Guard Commander General Abdurrahman Chani proclaimed himself the leader of a new military junta. Shortly after confirming the coup a success, on August 5, 2023, the U.S. temporarily paused certain foreign assistance programs to the government of Niger. The move came as the Economic Community of West African States, a region bloc representing 50 countries, was weighing possible military intervention to return Bazoum's government to power. Lastly, in foreign scene, a pro-Russia Japanese lawmaker left his opposition party Tuesday after facing criticism for making a surprise visit to Moscow and declaring a support for Russia to win the war in Ukraine. Manaao Suzuki, a former parliamentary vice minister of foreign affairs, submitted a letter of resignation to the center-right opposition Japan Innovation Party, said the party's Secretary General Fujita. The party had been taking steps to expel him over the trip, but Suzuki told leaders that he wished to leave for his own accord. Fujita said veteran lawmaker Suzuki will continue to serve as a member of parliament with his current term due to end in 2025. The lawmaker visited Russia for a 5-day trip from October 1st to meet with various Russian officials, including Deputy Foreign Minister Andrei Rudenko. It was the first known visit by a Japanese lawmaker to Russia since Moscow invaded Ukraine last year. As well, residents of Yemen floods hit Bago city salvage food and belongings from their waterlogged homes on Tuesday after record rainfall triggered floods that authorities said have displaced 14,000 people. The rainy season typically brings months of heavy downpours to the Southeast Asian country, but scientists say man-made climate change is making weather patterns more intense. In eastern Bago city, residents waded down street through waist-deep water or floated along in boats or on ripple tires as ripples lapped at shelters, shops and houses. Flooding began in July and has affected 9 of Yemen's state and region, including Rakhine, Katan, Haran, Man, and Chan. You're watching Global TV's news cycle coming to you live from the Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform using a Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your TV screen. We'll be back with more stories for you after this short break. Please don't go away. Welcome back, and in case you're just joining us, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcasts of the news cycle from the Nigeria's capital, Abuja. The Group Chief Executive Officer of Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Maya Kyari, has maintained that the company is not planning to increase its pump prices for petroleum motor spirit, commonly known as petrol. Speaking with State House correspondents yesterday, shortly after a private meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa Abuja, Mr. Maya Kyari said the prices remain the same, and queues at some fuel stations in some parts of the country is due to panic buying, noting that Nigeria has over 1.4 billion litres in stock. He added that the federal government is addressing all marketers' challenges bordering on access to foreign exchange.
Marketers are now competing amongst themselves. So one, you must have noticed some fuel stations will reduce price by 2 naira and 3 naira. So customers will naturally run to the places where you have that reduction in prices. And that creates panic, because for those who don't know why they are doing it, they will think that there's something wrong happening, or there's an ominous sign of scarcity, and people start queuing up in the fuels. Otherwise, there is no challenge. Supply is robust. We have over 1.4 billion litres of product in our hands, both marine and land. And also that there are no issues around delivery of those products into the land. So there is no fear, nothing to bother about. But we're also happy that the market forces are now playing out, and marketers are competing. And of course, there are a few issues we're engaging them to resolve alongside other agencies of government. And there are critical issues around access to foreign exchange. And we, as you all know, government is doing so much to ensure supply of FX into the market. We know that these FX markets will stabilize. Current A&E window is around 770, and we know that those inputs that's already happening, the inputs of government today will crystallize, and also they will come to an equilibrium position in the FX market. And this is the dream of this country, so that we'll have a stable FX market, stable product market, where the prices of product would also speak to prices of other commodities. And this is already manifesting, and we think this is the economic revolution that this country needs.
Malam Kyari, Group Chief Executive Officer of Nigeria National Petroleum Company, NNPCL Limited, GMD, also debunked reports that the federal government has again reintroduced the payment of petrol subsidy. As well, the Chief Executive of the Nigeria Downstream and Midstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, signed and said engagement is ongoing with the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to ease access to foreign exchange so that other marketers can import petrol into the country. This is as the NNPC has again reverted to being the sole importer of petrol as the foreign exchange crisis persists. This is coming barely 5 months after the company said it would no longer be the sole importer of petrol into the country. The Group Chief Executive Officer of Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Maya Kyari, said yesterday foreign exchange issues have not allowed private companies to import petroleum products. According to Kyari, the NNPCL has once again become the sole importer of petrol since private companies cannot access foreign currency due to shortage issues. However, Farouk, who met with representatives of all marketers yesterday to resolve the challenges faced in the importation and smooth distribution of petroleum products in the country, said the internal restructuring going on at the CBN, the situation will be solved soon. Meanwhile, the federal government on Monday unveiled 7 additional draft regulations to improve operational and regulatory efficiency in the upstream arm of Nigeria's oil and gas sector. It unveiled the draft regulations through the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission and also engaged stakeholders in Abuja at the 4th phase of consultation to obtain their inputs and finalizing the laws. The Chief Executive Officer, NUPRC, Benga Komolafe, said the stakeholders' consultation was in line with Section 216, subsection 1 of the Petroleum Industry Act, PI. A 2021, which requires the Commission to consult with stakeholders prior to finalizing regulations or amendment to regulations. Komolafe, who was represented by Executive Commissioner Economic Regulation and Planning, Kelechi Ofwebo, said one of the objectives of the PIA was to foster a business environment conducive for petroleum operations. As well, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, says Sub-Saharan Africa will have a stronger voice at the fund as it will get a third seat on the Global Leaders Executive Board. Georgieva delivered the news ahead of the next week's IMF and World Bank meetings in Marrakesh, Morocco, the first gathering of the continent since 1973.
Good news for Africa. We are advancing a preparation to have a third representative of Sub-Saharan Africa in our executive board. There are some still discussions. How is the African continent coming together? What does it mean? But ultimately what it would mean is stronger voice for Africa. We expect some brighter prospect for Sub-Saharan Africa in 2024. I want to praise most of the countries for being very prudent in dealing with inflation. In many countries, inflation is going down, and also in prioritizing public spending in a way that allows them to now gradually bring deficits down.
Georgieva said growth in Sub-Saharan Africa decelerated this year to 3%. The IMF Executive Board, which is chaired by Georgieva, is responsible for conducting the Washington-based institution's day-to-day business and currently has 24 directors. The United States, as the world's biggest economy, has the largest share of votes, followed by economic powers Japan, China, and Western Europe, ahead of other regions and developing nation. A symbolic coin of $1, 1 ruble, released in 1988 as a symbol of dismantling made of the metal of destroyed missiles in picture in Moscow on October 10, 2023. The ruble fell further against the dollar a few days after Russian President Vladimir Putin said the sanction hit country's economic situation was stable. In recent days, the Russian currency was falling down in exchange, trending below 102 rubles per dollar. And let's take a quick look on our top stories on sports. The UEFA Executive Committee has announced that the UEFA Europe 2028 will be hosted by England, Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, Scotland, and subsequently the UEFA Euro 2032 will take place in Italy and Turkey. The announcement ceremony took place at the UEFA headquarters in Bern, Switzerland on Tuesday, according to a post by UEFA on its X account on Tuesday. The proposed venues include Belfast, Birmingham, Cardiff, Dublin, Glasgow, Liverpool, London, Manchester, and Newcastle. Meanwhile, Germany will host the Euro 2024 after being selected to stage the 17th edition of the UEFA European Championship at the UEFA Executive Committee meeting in Bern on September 27, 2018. Turkey was the only other country to bid on hosting UEFA Euro 2024, whereas Germany held the 1988 tournament. But this will be the first time Germany has hosted the UEFA European Championship since reunification. And that's it on Global TV News Cycle, coming to you live from the Nigeria's capital, Abuja. On StarTimes channel 276, kindly follow us across our social media platform using the Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your TV screen. On behalf of the production team, I am Judith Peters. Thank you so very much, and you have a wonderful time.